This is one of my recorded group coaching calls with my own personal clients, and this topic is hacks to staying on track no matter what for busy professionals. So this is kind of an inside look into what it looks like on one of our group coaching calls. We do these on Wednesdays, Thursdays. We also do Q&As on Mondays, so we do these every week. We have some good discussion in the beginning, some good discussion at the end, but this is me going through the topic, which is fitness hacks to staying on track. So enjoy. Happy hump day, my fitness junkies. This one is fitness hacks for staying on track. And guys, if you've been here for a while, you're probably going to hear some of the same things, but again, sometimes you need to be reminded more than you need to learn brand new stuff. So these are always good reminders of just like, hey, what are the things that are just going to help us stay on track no matter what? All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it. All right. So what we're going to be talking about, simple tips to keep you consistent. Okay, so practical fitness hacks for busy people, right? That's pretty much, the type of people we work with, busy professionals, busy adults, all of you guys. All right, so we're gonna be talking about practical tips for that, and then tips to make nutrition and workouts manageable on the go, right? So whether you're traveling, you're just having a super busy day and things are just going crazy, you're on vacation, things like that. So let's go ahead and go to this. So easy on the go protein options is what we're going to start with, right? And you guys, we're going to go ahead and beat a dead horse here. Why protein matters. I mean, we should all know this by now, but it helps with muscle recovery and keeps you full longer. So that's why we really hone in on prioritizing the protein, especially when, if there's some other things, shit's kind of hitting the fan that week, right? Like things are a little bit out of the ordinary. Like it's even more important, right? Or if you're sick, just any out of the ordinary stuff, it's like the protein matters. That's what we want to prioritize. Okay. So some quick protein hacks, some prepackaged stuff that helps people out, that we've found and we've suggested, whether people are on a road trip, they're on vacation, just to have really easy options. I've actually suggested jerky in the past. I actually used to snack on turkey jerky all the time and I loved it. And you can find healthy options. So I used to get turkey jerky at Trader Joe's, and it was like, pretty good macros, high in protein, pretty solid. I've told you guys, I've said this a lot, but those Greek yogurt cups, the Oikos Triple Zero Greek yogurts, like when in doubt, when I'm on vacation or visiting my parents in Houston, I double, triple up on those. Like I've been known to eat four of those in a day, right? They're just so easy, so good, so convenient. I love those things. All right, then, protein bars. Those can be helpful too. We try not to go crazy with the protein supplements. I'd rather you guys get it from like some of these other options, but they can be super helpful, especially if you're on a trip and things like that. Liquid options, obviously, protein shakes. Like just bring your protein powder where you're going, or the Fairlife options. I've suggested those recently, especially the Elite Core or the Core Power Elite, because they have 42 grams of protein. Like, man, you have two of those in a day. It's like you had 84 grams of protein just from that. It's like that's gonna make hitting your protein goal like super easy. I think I suggested that to Melanie, who's on the call today, because she was sick the last couple of days. She hasn't really been able to eat whole foods as much. In situations like that, like those things are gonna be super helpful, right? I get something in the chat here. Oikos Triple Zero are the bomb. They had a limited release of a peach flavor at my HEB, and now I miss it. Yeah, I've tried a lot of different flavors. I think the ones that are, undefeated is the berry, or it's like the triple berry. I love those, but I like the strawberry ones too. I even like the vanilla. They've got lots of good flavors, so for sure. Um, Convenient Whole Foods. So I've got the picture of it right here. These things, I think they changed the game for me as far as, getting your eggs in if you're on the go and stuff like that. Like they make these, they're at Walmart, they're at HEB, they're at most stores. It's like the pre-packaged already hard-boiled eggs. Right? So if you're like, man, I'm on the go, I still want to get my eggs in for my breakfast, like that makes it super simple. Rotisserie chicken, I think is something that's changed the game. We had a new fitness junkie join the team, just last week, and he was very upfront. He was like, I don't want to have to meal prep. So I was using a lot of these different kind of hacks for his meal plan, right? So there's rotisserie chicken in there, there's hard-boiled eggs, there's Greek yogurt, there's all lots of different stuff like this of like he literally like I designed his meal plan so that he doesn't have to meal prep at all, right? But he can use some of these things. So there's ways to do it, guys, to make it super simple on yourself. Obviously, we want you to try to get good quality whole foods for the most part, but some of these hacks can really come in handy. We got something in the chat here. Peach is good. Mixed berry and strawberry. Riley says, yeah, I agree. Especially the mixed berry. Those are really good to me. Herb said rotisserie chicken wasn't good, too greasy. Yeah, I would say, there are some that are better than others. Um, just with him, I usually don't design a whole meal plan off of that, but he was very specific of like he's just not going to meal prep. So I went with rotisserie chicken. And specifically, I would even rather like take off the skin, and just have like the actual chicken in it. But there is some grease. But hey, if we account for that and it's like part of your meal plan, then we can work around that, right? Like we say, like fat isn't inherently bad, like carbs aren't inherently bad, right? But we have a certain calorie goal. And so if we got like chicken breast in your meal plan, but then you replace that with rotisserie chicken, it kind of like compromises what the calorie goal is, if that makes sense. Right? Like if we're incorporating it into the meal plan and we're designing it to have that in there, then we know like we're having the calorie goals and the macros that we're shooting for. But if you guys have a certain calorie goal and we have whole foods and certain things in place, and then you start replacing it with other things, that's when hey, like we might need to pay attention because that might be too greasy, add too much fat, and things like that. So I hope that makes sense. But let's keep going here. All right. So tips for getting workouts in anywhere, right? Because guys, we got plenty of people in here who travel a lot, both, for fun, for work, and they get workouts in. Like people make it happen in this group. It's like that's I feel really like I kind of have some pride in that. Like we've got some fitness junkies that, man, like they make it happen, right? Whether they're vacationing or traveling for work or just whatever it is. Like I feel like we got people in here that make it happen no matter what. So um, mindset shift. Like small workouts still count, guys. I think I mentioned this last week or maybe the week before. But 20 to 30 minutes can be effective, right? And I've said this on a few weekly check-ins recently where people were like, man, I just didn't have enough time to work out. The other day I had like, 30, 45 minutes and it just wasn't realistic for me to get to the gym and back. It's like, guys, like I'm fine with you guys in those situations. Like I'd rather you literally get two exercises in than nothing, right? That's a win, right? If you get in there for 20 minutes and you hit like, say it was a leg day and you hit your squats and your deadlifts and you got out, like that's much better than nothing, right? So, those 20, 30 minutes can be effective if that's all that the time that you have. Okay. So I want you guys to kind of try to shift your mindset of like, I've had a couple of workouts recently because the thing I was grateful for on the call today, because we always say what we're grateful for was I've been busy, right? It's been busy month and a half for me, right? But, um, even in those little time crunches that I have, like I'm getting in what I can. I had a workout I think it was last week that was like 30 minutes. I was in and out. But I was glad that I did that, right? Because I would have probably felt bad if I didn't get anything in, right? And it's just like, man, I got so off track that day. I missed my whole workout, right? And I actually got most of my exercises in 30 minutes. So if you superset things, you're just mindful. You just, you're kind of on the go, and maybe you take a little less rest periods every once in a while. Like you can get a lot in that time period. All right. So get something in the chat here. Alex and Adam only working out at home made crazy progress. Yeah, man, that's even I don't want to say I had a limiting belief around home workouts, but seeing the progress that some of our clients have made at home, like Riley says, for example, Alex and Adam, it's like, man, it really opens your mind up to how much you can do at home if you know what you're doing, right? If you have a plan and you're still adding intensity and you're doing the right exercises with resistance bands, body weight to add that intensity, like there's a lot you can do and you can get a really good workout in, guys. I promise you, right? With as little as resistance bands and body weight. Got something else in the chat. What are supersets? So, Melanie, supersets is so if you look on True Coach, right? Anytime I have like D1, D2, right, where it's two exercises, like kind of like back to back, and there's no rest time, that's like you're doing two workouts back to back with no rest, right? So it's like you do one set of one set of the other. They're designed to be back to back. They're usually opposing muscle groups. So some examples, a lot of times I'll throw like tricep extensions with bicep curls, right? And it's a superset. You do one, you do the other. It's just boom, boom, boom with no rest going the whole time. So, but yeah, so body weight push-ups, squats, lunges, lots of stuff you can do. Resistance bands, they're lightweight, portable, versatile. You can bring there's plenty of our fitness junkies that bring resistance bands even on, when they travel in a plane, they just put it in their suitcase. They have that stuff ready to go, right? My client in Germany, um, Timo, he travels quite a bit to other countries. But he is another one of our clients who literally he's worked out at home using resistance band, body weight. I think, a couple of dumbbells and kettlebells and a pull-up bar. He's been doing that for like 3 years. TRX bands now too, right? So we've kind of incorporated some other things, but no matter where he's at, he can still get a workout in. So it's pretty awesome. Another thing is like incorporate movement into daily routines, right? Like walking meetings. I've got I've got my walking pad here. I don't do it as much anymore because I'm actually bulking right now, so I'm kind of limiting my steps. But for you guys, like, and when I was cutting, and pretty soon here I will be again. I'm gonna be in prep here pretty soon, and I'll start incorporating it more. But like, you guys have probably seen me in the past, even on some of these calls, I'd be walking, right? And some one-on-one calls, things like that. You'll probably see me start on the weekly check-ins. I'll probably be walking on some of those, right? Walking pads change the game for me. So that's huge. But even if you don't have a walking pad, you could literally, if you have like a meeting on the phone, walk around, right? Um, things even when you're chilling, watching TV, if you're trying to get steps in, I've done that too, right? In times where it's been like really bad weather, I've put a YouTube video on right here, just got my walking pad, and I've got some extra steps in at the end of the day if I felt like I had a really inactive day, right? So there's little things like that. Um, And that's another thing, like hotel room workouts, parks, like small spaces. Like, guys, if you let me know that you're traveling, I can throw workouts on True Coach for hotels. If they have a gym, we can do that, or we can just do like body weight stuff. Wherever you're at, we can put something on there to stay on track. Okay. So let's keep going here. Time management for fitness. So this is one that we've definitely said a lot on one-on-one check-ins with this, but guys, this is huge. All right, and I live and die by my Google Calendar, right? But schedule workouts like they're appointments with yourself. Okay, this is huge. Like literally put it in your Google Calendar, if I don't, or whatever you use for your scheduling for what you do, right? Because I deliberately have a space in my days where no one can schedule with me, right? It's like this is the time when I work out. All right. So you got to treat your schedule like you have that appointment with yourself, or else it's always going to fall by the wayside. Especially if you do something, if you've got kind of a job like me where it's like there's always more work you could be doing, right? So you got to kind of block it off. I got something in the chat here. Sorry, just now getting on. I've gotten some fantastic hotel workouts in the past. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's so one of our clients, Houston. I did a podcast with him a couple months ago. He travels a lot for work, and what he does is he just shoots me a quick video every time he's in his hotel gym, just to show me what he has access to. Sometimes it's only dumbbells, sometimes it's dumbbells and a cable machine. Sometimes we get lucky. There's dumbbells, cable machine. There's like leg extension, leg curl. There's a little bit extra, right? But he shoots me a video, and then like whatever the workout is, I'll usually send him a voice message and just give him suggestions of, oh, you can replace this with this with this, right? And just tell him what he can do with what we have on the schedule, right? So, guys, it just takes a little bit of communication. We can get good workouts in no matter what you have access to, right? You can get, especially if there's a hotel gym, we can get really solid workouts with that. So, obviously, use fitness apps for guided set. Like True Coach just makes it super simple, guys. It's like you just boom, boom, boom. You know what to do. It's just it's on your schedule, right? So stick to that, and you're gonna be good to go. Multitask already kind of talked about this a little bit. With the walking pad, I think Valeria on the call got a walking pad recently. Another one of our clients, Jacob, got a walking pad. Um, yeah, I highly recommend it. They're super cheap now. You can find a walking pad for like just barely over $100, right? So I think I think they're almost like a necessity at this point. It's like, it's just really easy to get steps in no matter what, right? And that really adds up too. Um, we already kind of talked about that. Another thing, with the multitask, you know, I've had lots of clients. take their kids to the gym and there's like, the daycare there. I think, if you have kids, that can be a huge, like kind of lifesaver with having like a daycare, or maybe if your kids are a little older, like they can work out too. But, don't let that hold you back. There's always kind of options. Again, I'm going to use Houston as an example. He brings his daughter into his gym, but he uses his apartment gym usually, and she's usually literally the camera girl of his videos for his exercises, right? So shout out to him, shout out to his daughter, and sometimes then she'll post up the camera and she'll do cartwheels and stuff. She's pretty entertaining. But yeah, it's like, incorporate your kids, show them what you're doing, like have them be a part of the process, right? Having kids shouldn't hold you back from reaching your goals. It should be one of the reasons that pushes you harder to get to your goals. All right, so that's what I believe, and I've seen lots of our fitness junkies like, that's one of their driving factors. So, and then like I said, with kind of the short workouts and kind of the mindset shift, there's like focus on consistency over perfection. Not every day is going to be a perfect, like I stuck to the plan 100%, got the best workout ever, right? But just focus on, hey, I got there, I did what I could, and I got out, right? Focus on that consistency, try not to miss, and never. I think a good rule of thumb is don't miss 2 times in a row, like for sure. All right, so make sure you stay on track with that. Let's keep going here. All right, so meal prep and planning tips, meal prep basics. All right, so just have a system in place, guys. Some of our clients, like we've said, some people cook 3 or 4 days at a time. Some people cook the whole week all at once. But have a process where you can just batch cook your protein, vegetables, and main carb sources all at once. If you guys haven't seen it already, go watch my YouTube video that I made of me meal prepping my meals. It takes me an hour, right? Like it's it's crazy to me when people say they don't have time to meal prep. You don't have time not to meal prep, right? It's like it takes me an hour. I actually do it after these calls on Wednesdays. I'm gonna meal prep after this. It'll take me an hour. I'm gonna do my laundry at the same time, watch a podcast. It's like it takes an hour, guys, and then you don't have to think about it the rest of the week. You got food ready to go. Boom, boom, boom. Like it's just you heat it up and it's good to go. All right. I want to shout out Riley, who's on the call here. Um, he follows a lot of those Instagram recipe pages, and he's implemented a lot of that into his own meal plan. He's kind of counting his macros. He's kind of more on the flexible dieting approach right now at this point. But he sent me some videos of like, healthy burritos that this dude like prepped out for I don't know how long it was. It looked like it was burritos for a whole year, right? Like a year's worth of burritos. It's just like, if you have really, you don't even need to make a whole year, obviously, but if you have like portions of something like kind of backup emergency meals, that can come in handy too. One thing I used to use was Huel. I've mentioned this before. It's a meal replacement shake, right? It's not just protein, but it's like, good macros, good ingredients of protein, carbs, and fat. And it was like, hey, if I ever ran out of prep, there were certain situations, oh man, it's on the last day. I'm supposed to prep today. I'm like one meal short, right? And I would have like that meal replacement of Huel. It's like, cool. I was still hit my macros, still on track, still good to go, right? So sometimes having some of those emergency meals can help a lot. Um, this is huge, guys. I can't stress enough. It seems simple, but having a lunchbox is a game changer. And I've said it before. All right, when I was I like to say living in gyms, right? When I worked in gyms for 6 years doing one-on-one personal training, like the last gym I worked at, Villa Sport, guys, I basically lived there. Okay, all three of my meals I was eating in that gym, out of that lunchbox, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack usually, right? So, um, if you're someone that's on the go a lot, like it's absolutely vital to have a lunchbox. All right. Um, yeah, and then Tupperware for easy storage, obviously. But then we talked about it before. I'm not gonna go too much in depth on this, but kind of hacking the dining out, right? Prioritize lean proteins and vegetables, and ask for sauces on the side. Like that's huge. Like really, like basically, I love the way Herb says this. Just act like the restaurant is prepping your food for them, and just tell them how you want it, right? I think that's a really good way to say it. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, I think so. Valeria says, "Is that stealth health, Riley?" I think that is what one of them, and I think I'm not sure if it's that guy, but he might have gone to A&M too. One of those guys that Riley follows. That's the main one he watches. He said. He did. Whoop. Oh, he lives in Colorado. Man, so much in common with this stealth health guy. Got to get him on one of these calls. Get him to do a cameo here. All right, so next up, staying motivated on the go. All right, so wanted to shout out Alex here because um, he around Christmas time he posted in the WhatsApp that he was working out with his dad, stuff like that. I always when I go home, I try to get a workout in with my dad, sometimes my mom as well. I think that can help a lot when you're traveling, you're on vacation, stuff like that. Shout out to one of our newer junkies, Cassie. She's going to Vietnam, but she said she's going with like a bunch of healthy people, and so she's gonna like doing hikes and stuff like that. It's like incorporate, what you're doing into the trip, right? And kind of the people that you're with, like get them to do stuff and make it a healthy trip, right? That can make it a lot of fun. We got something in the chat here. Aggie also has meal prep frozen stuff in Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'll have to check it into that. Yeah, Riley, send a couple of those meals that he has at Target and stuff into the WhatsApp. That'd be cool if they're good and healthy and have good macros. Yeah, so Melanie says I work out with my granddaughter. Yeah, it's guys, it makes it so fun to like incorporate what you're doing and just like show your family what you're doing, get them into it. I think Alex even said like he got his dad to set goals for the year, when they worked out. Like I love that type of stuff. Like it pumps you up, and people say like, oh, I'm going to visit family. I don't think I'm gonna be able to work out. It's like, no, get them to do it. Be the leader, right? Be the leader of your family. Be the one that like, pumps everyone else up and gets them to want to level up, right? Something else here. Meals at Target. Yeah. Let us know on that, Riley. Everyone wants to know. All right. So, yeah, then focus on like kind of just some smaller wins, drinking the water you're supposed to be drinking when you're traveling and stuff. Steps is always something you can control, right? It's like no matter where you're at, what you're doing, like you can push to get more steps in, right? Even when I traveled to Colorado and like when I was in the airport, I was walking around while we were waiting for the airplane and stuff like it's like you can always get steps in no matter what's going on. Like even on the travel days and stuff like that. That's something you can control. I can't get anyone I know pumped to want to work out. Yeah, you can, Brandon. We got to work on your ability to pump people up. Keep sending them uh rock Spotify playlists and just I don't know. We'll work on it. Yeah, that that's just something I feel like yeah, it's like at least get them to go on a walk with you. My mom's not a big, in the gym person, but when I go visit home, we'll at least go on a bike ride, we'll get steps in, we'll go on walks, stuff like that. Yeah, so there's always something people can do. Um, yeah, so I think I pretty much incorporated all that into what I was saying. So, man, and so this is an outdated progress picture for Alex. I need to update this because the ones he sent today, man, you're continuing to level up. We finally got Alex in the gym this year. He's crushing it, hitting big barbell movements, packing on some muscle. Good stuff, man. Cool. So to kind of sum it all up, guys, my takeaways, give you some of those easy protein options, bands and body weight, guys. Like there's always something we can do. All right, plan ahead, multitask, get a walking pad. I would highly suggest that, honestly, guys. I think that's an absolute game changer. The lunchbox is huge. I don't use it as much anymore, but if I was still working in gyms or if even when I was working an 8 to 5 office job, I was using that lunchbox. That's a game changer too. Accountability in the buddy system. Lean on us. Um, share your passion with what you're doing and your goals with your family, whoever you're visiting, whatever you're doing. Get people involved. That's going to help you. So yeah, that's all I got. We've been getting some good discussion in the chat along the way, but anyone else got anything to share as far as maybe some other hacks that I didn't share that you've got that have helped you stay on track? I might call on a couple people if I know maybe someone's got a hack here. If I can sense someone's got a hack.
I got you.
Okay.
And I don't know if you mentioned this one, but laying out your supplements and clothes the night
Mm.
before, and
Yeah.
then there's
I
one
was
of the things.
literally about to say that.
That's one of the biggest things. It just removes that extra barrier. And then
Yeah.
second one would be well, I guess this is kind of deals more with people who in the mornings, like whenever your alarm first goes up off,
Mm,
some people like to hit snooze, but like do a countdown. Like
mm.
your alarm goes off and then in your head or even out loud, just count down from five and be like, okay, get up. For some reason, I don't know
Yeah.
why. It's really stupid, but it helps a lot whenever you're struggling to get out of bed.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, those are both really good ones. I feel like anything you can do the day before that sets up the next day to be easier, just like the future you is gonna be thanking you, right? And I mentioned the lunchbox when I was working at Villa Sport. It's like that was one of my things I was doing the night before. I was packing that lunchbox, putting it in the fridge so that when I wake up, just grab that thing, I'm ready to go for the day, right? So that's huge. And yeah, the supplement thing, totally agree. Close the night before, all that type of stuff is gonna help you out. Um, and yeah, the other thing you said, yeah, with I would piggyback too off of the I use that rule too. I usually just go 3-2-1, and it's like whatever I'm trying to do is just like, all right, I give myself that 3-2-1 rule. But also with waking up in the morning, something I would mention on that is put your phone in another room, guys. I've mentioned this before, but I put my phone in the bathroom, right? Because if it was laying right next to me, I don't have the willpower while I'm tired in the morning, right? And I snooze that thing, right? So it makes me get up, got to go to the bathroom, turn off the alarm, and then I'm already up. Brandon, you got your raised hand. What's up, brother?
Sorry if the music loud, but the putting your phone in the other room thing that used to work for me when I worked at my old job because I had a work phone that I hated the sound of the phone, gave me anxiety. Um, but now I'm such a deep sleeper that I can barely hear my phone when it's next to me. What
Oh,
would you
dang.
say in that kind of situation?
Yeah, I've got
That's
an
how much of
answer.
a deep sleeper I am.
Yeah, I've actually got an answer for you. So, and this is a shout out to David Yeague. He actually suggested this to me because there was a couple of times that I slept through my alarm. I don't anymore. I guess I've become more of a light sleeper. But for a while, I was using an alarm clock. So I was using my phone and an alarm clock. So the alarm clock that I specifically used, though, it was really cool. And I can try to find the link because David Yeague sent me this. But it's an alarm clock that also has a light that slowly turns on and wakes you up with the light, right? So it's like it usually it would wake me up with the light before it woke me up with the sound. And then it was also like less like I wasn't stressed out when I woke up because it was kind of like a slow wake up. It was like, what's that light? And it would just kind of wake me up. So I always thought that was kind of cool. It was like less of a abrupt like get up. It was just kind of like, oh, I slowly woke up and it was kind of relaxing. Now I'm up. So
Hey, side note, Brandon, do you have a like an Apple Watch or anything like that?
Yeah,
So
I do.
what I've been doing is I had been wearing my Apple Watch while sleeping, and then it will vibrate on my wrist. So the main reason I would do that is because my fiance wakes up like 2 hours after I do. And I'm pretty bad about waking up to my alarm. So sometimes it's not that I'm necessarily ignore or snore or snoozing rather, but I can't hear it or just like subconsciously ignoring it. So having the vibration on my wrist would help me wake up.
nice.
I think I used to do that. Um, my watch dies very quickly though. So, well, I might try that some days.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, if you got the charge on it, it helps.
Brandon, check out the link I sent in WhatsApp. It's a step up
Uh,
from that.
nice. Yeah, and then I do the same thing on my Whoop. It vibrates, and I I usually have it after just in case now.
Yes, so
Oh,
so what happened? Did like Chino like cry, and that's why now the pig people have to go and his for at least once a week, and then you once a week, and then
oh, I thought
on
I was
their
listening
home time.
intently.
And she
I
goes,
thought,
I don't know, but it
hey,
was Adam that said that. Like
I was listening intently because I thought that was a question, but I think someone was just unmuted. But yeah, I was saying now I just put the Whoop on vibrate after just in case I don't wake up to my alarm. But for a while I was doing it before, and it would kind of lightly wake me up, and then I'd still wake up to my alarm fully for sure. So good tips, guys. Anyone else got any other hacks they want to share? All right, well
I
we'll
just,
oh,
well,
go ahead.
I would just say real quick, man, amount of like different like snacks or on the go stuff that there is like insane. Like I'm sure we've all tried like, combine like hundreds of different things, right? So I feel like the biggest
Yep.
thing is like try stuff and then like figure out what works best for you, right? It's like
Yeah.
maybe a handful of us love those Oikos, but maybe you hate yogurt, so that's not gonna work for
Yeah.
you. But and then maybe like I like that legendary Pop-Tart thing and Kate hates it. So, it's all just what works best for you. And there's all kinds of options.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. There's so much. It's like we really don't have an excuse these days. Like there's so much out there. Right? It's like there's always something else coming out that's like a good macro source, right? We've got something else here. I need a bed that tilts me onto the floor. Yeah. Other than that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, something else in the group chat here. Valeria says I struggle to get water in throughout the day, so I got a gallon water bottle. And so I work from home. I don't have to carry it around. Yeah, that's big. There's also, those water bottles where it says like the time of the day and you've got to like have a certain amount drank by then. I think those are really cool. I don't use that. I usually just try to drink a certain amount of these per day. But, for some people, I think that can be helpful. Like, oh, it's 11 a.m. I'm supposed to be here on the water bottle, right? So I appreciate that. Well, cool. We'll keep chatting as a group, guys. I'm going to stop the recording here. But if you got any questions, if you're watching the recording, let us know. If you got hacks of your own, please share in the WhatsApp. Other than that, guys, let's crush the rest of the week. I'm going to talk to everyone here on the call, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Elevate. Only obligation is to tell it straight.